commander. Sa pangkalahatan, tungkulin ng unit head o chief na tumugon sa mga katanungan na nanggagaling sa media, pati na rin kung anong klase ng impormasyon ang ibibigay sa mga ito. Kung hindi kayang gampanan ng unit head o chief ang gawain ito, maaari niya itong italaga sa unit PIO. Designation of PIO or spokesperson. Nararapat lamang na mayroong nakatalagang Public Information Officer o Official Spokesperson sa bawat regional office at National Support Unit.
Now, this is the major duties of an PIO. 1. Assist the media in covering news stories. 2. Be present at major incidents and assist the incident that handled by his unit. 3. Assist news or press conference. 4. Serves as official liaisons between media and different police units. The duty of the PIO is not just answering questions from the media, but also to build a proactive relationship to the media that will benefits the public, because the PIO or the PNP units and the different media programs are the one who's providing public matters information to the citizens.
The absence of public information officer. We all know that PIO is the center of the source of information or the official authority in relation to the PNP media. When PIO is not around, there is a deputy PIO. And at the crime scene, the ground commander or the supervisor of the unit in charge of the incident may answer questions from the media. The information to be disseminated will not prejudice the outcome of the investigation. So the next one is media accreditation process. If you are a member of the media, you will submit to the PIO your certificate endorsement if you are from ABS-CBN, GMA, or TV5, if any other news center. And if you are from a foreign media, you must submit an accreditation form from the International Press Center or IPC. And from the freelancers, if you are a freelancer, you must submit your intent letter to the PIO. And before you enter the press conference or to gather information, you will fill up a form called Media Personal Information or MPI given by the PIO.
How to deal with media. First one is authorized media representatives have the access to the PIO and the unit head or chief as governed by existing policies. That means that the representatives of authorized or accredited media will be given fair access to the PIO and as controlled by existing policies, the unit head or chief. In situation where data has to be refused, the basis for this shall be truly and courteously explained and having been withheld from the media. The second one is the PNP recognizes authorized identification from all legitimate local, national, and international organizations. In cases when any media representatives fails to present an authorized identification, it may be used as ground restricting access to requested information or to incident scenes. Next one is the public information shall be released to the media. Next one on how to deal with the media is information can give through telephone to the representatives, to the media representatives. Ranking officers at crime or incident scenes may provide factual information to the media as governed by this policy. When the officer is unsure of the facts or the propriety of releasing information, he shall refer to inquiry to the PIO. Next one is when it is an interagency operation, the department or agency with primary jurisdiction will determine the dissemination of appropriate press statements and releases. When it is the entity with primary authority, the PNP will issue statements consistent with this policy. All other assistant agencies will recognize the details. Next one is written press statements shall be first approved by the unit head or chief or his designee before it can be disseminated to the media. Next one is the PNP Communications Center shall immediately inform the Chief Operations Center upon receipt of information about events or activities that may call media attention. Next one is the Chief Operations Centers shall ensure that the C, PNP, and C, PIO are fully aware of activities that may be of interest to the media. And last one is the PNP will be consistent in supplying information to the media for public dissemination.
I am going to discuss the release of information to the media. So first, we have the intelligence information. Even if it is a general rule to the PNP to cooperate with the media, there are still some informations that they can keep unsaid or unrevealed to the media. One of the example of this information is the criminal information of intelligence. Second is the non-investigative information. It is also a general nature to release information that is not specific to the ongoing investigation. Number 3 is the investigative information. From the initial stage of the criminal investigation until the completion of trial without the authorization of the head of office. The informations that can or may be released in connection with an investigation are nature of crime, location, time, date, injuries sustained, damages, general description, type, and quantity of the property taken. Maaaring ilabas ang mga impormasyon na hindi makasisira sa proseso ng investigasyon na isinasagawa. While the information about a sexual crime is not permitted, especially when the offender or the victim is a minor and have a mental disorder, even if it is not a sex crime because it can degrade their dignity, but not unless the case is already in the court and there's an authorization from the department chief to release this information. Number 4 is the arrest information. There are also informations about issuance of warrant and filing of indictment that are permissible to release to the media and not permissible, unless if it is authorized by the unit head or chief. Ang mga impormasyon na may kinalaman sa pagdakip na maaaring ibigay sa media ay ang pangalan, edad, tirahan, trabaho, at katayuan ng pamilya ng akusado. The time and place of arrest, weapons used, amount of bond, scheduled court dates, and the place of suspect's detention can also be released. Ngunit ang mga impormasyon tulad ng record of confession or statement of the defendant, identity and statements of witnesses and or victims are not permissible unless tulad ng nasabi ay authorized ito ng unit head or chief. Number 5 is the special consideration in criminal matters. In criminal matters, media has also its limitations on the information that they will get. Like only the factual information describing a scene of a suicide can only be released to them. They are also not allowed to cross the police line for their safety until the investigation is done. It is also a must for them to observe and uphold the right of their children in conflict with the law. Number 6 is the special consideration in SOCO matter. Media is allowed to enter the crime scene only before the SOCO and investigator on case are finished processing the crime scene to avoid the destruction of the evidences that can be found in the place. SOCO, investigator on case, and the first responder are also prohibited to give informations that may affect the investigation. Lastly, number 7 is the special consideration in non-criminal matter. As I think a general rule, media must be maintained and not interfere in the police, fire, and medical works or mission. Just like also in the SOCO matter, they also have to be controlled and stay within the fire line for their safety. There are also instances that they can be denied by the police to not give information.
Now, let's tackle the media handling when it comes to dealing with media during crisis. There are different levels of crisis: man-made crisis or emergencies and the natural crisis or emergencies. In these two types of crisis, there are equivalent organizations that shall handle these situations. For example, an aircraft hijacking and terrorism has occurred. The responsibility lies on the Committee of Hijacking and Anti-Terrorism Council. Another example, when a disaster or natural calamities occurred, the NDRRMC or National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council will act on this situation. As I mentioned earlier, there are two types of crises or emergencies. The first one is the man-made crisis. These are disturbances on civil that caused by a man. The examples are terrorist activities, hijacking, or we can easily say crimes. The next is the natural crisis or emergencies. These are natural disasters or calamities like typhoons, drought, earthquake, and more. Now, let's answer the question, what the spokesperson can do during crisis or emergencies. During the crisis or emergency, the PIO can do stonewall, meaning to deny that the crisis actually exists. The other one is to manage, releasing partial inaccurate information or delayed information. These actions are being done to avoid public from panicking. But remember, make sure that the cover-up of the issue does not leak the media, because this can shatter the credibility of the PIO. Now, let's go in communicating with media during the crisis. During crisis, the PIO plays an important role. And first is inform the media what to use and not to use, because some information may cause trouble to the public, especially to the execution of the solution for the crisis. Next is to provide opportunity for the media to give information, because the media is the image of the public for freedom of information. The PIO must remember to maintain control. Release what you want to release and when you want it to release. Provide area for the media and avoid contact to the media that might jeopardize the operation. And last, there are some information that needed to be confidential, which means it should not be released in public, like any tactical move, planning for the operation, and the identity and important information about the suspect or hostages when it comes to hostage incident.